This is KGW News at 11.
Hey everybody, good to see you on this Saturday night. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Galen Edlin. Well, after a rough spell for downtown Portland, this is finally some welcome news. Portland Saturday Market is back, kicking off a new season today. KGW's Alma McCarty was there this afternoon. How are people really feeling about getting back to downtown for all of this, Alma?
Well, Galen, people were so happy to be out and just so glad that Portland Saturday Market is back. It's been a staple in downtown for nearly 50 years, but the last couple have been difficult. People I spoke to have high hopes about this season and this city.
Saturday afternoon, vendors packed up and headed home at the end of what many would consider a successful day.
I expected less. I really didn't have any expectations, and this has blown me away.
Fears and concerns about the reopening of Portland Saturday Market put to rest. Market manager Diana Gladden said she's not the only one feeling a sense of relief and a sense of joy.
I've made it a point as the manager to talk to every single vendor here today, and that was my goal, and I wanted their vibe, their take, and just welcome them back. I've had random visitors and guests that have stopped by the info booth or pulled us aside and said, "We are so glad that you're here."
Guests spent hours browsing the booths of more than 100 vendors.
It's worth coming down here, you guys. The vibe has been really good. Everybody's been really good. Smiles on faces.
As an artist myself, it's great to see other artists do their thing.
Artists like Sienna.
My style is like pointillism, where artists draw entirely with dots. I instead draw with data. I call the technique numberism. This is my most complicated piece I've ever made. It's drawn with mechanical properties for tendon, muscle, and bone.
She calls the Portland Saturday Market a foundation of her business, a benefit to her financially and creatively.
I moved to Portland to be part of Portland Saturday Market. So I was originally living in Arizona, and we had art fairs that were scattered across time. And this was the first market I saw that was open air and going on most of the year.
Gladden says in 2022, they're scaling back up, not quite ready for a 2-day operation each weekend, but hopeful that could soon become reality.
I've had tears in my eyes a couple times because I didn't expect the support that I got, and I thought I was going to be met with a lot of trouble. We are here, and I am 100%. Let's get this downtown back together, and let's reclaim it for Portland.
Alma McCarty, KGW News.
Good to have good news, right? Well, next weekend will be the first time since last summer that masks will no longer be required indoors in Oregon and Washington. So the big question is, what's next? It was a little more than 2 years ago when Oregon reported its first cases of coronavirus. We later went through the mass vaccination push last year, and doctors now say we're entering what's called an endemic. That means the virus is here to stay, but we'll be treating it differently because case numbers are expected to rise more slowly. So for some, it will be more normal, but not everyone will be able to jump back into their pre-pandemic lives.
It's obviously a transition time for a lot of people. I think we have clearly stated that if you're not vaccinated, that if you're immune compromised, that you live in a multi-generational home with your grandparents and with your babies that are less than 4 years old that cannot be vaccinated, right? So you should consider protection.
So basically be mindful of your own situation and others around you. Doctors say how we respond will make all the difference for how quickly we can establish this new normal. So that means continuing other prevention too, like hand washing, staying home when you don't feel well, and getting tested if your symptoms line up with COVID. All right, the other big story, the issues going on in Ukraine right now. The sun is slowly rising in Kiev. And there's a look back now at some major developments over the past 24 hours. Ukraine is asking for more military aid from the U.S. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky directly asked U.S. lawmakers to impose a ban on Russian oil and gas. This comes after a ceasefire failed after 3 hours, and Russian forces began shelling 2 cities where civilians were told they could safely leave. Another round of talks for ending the violence is expected to begin on Monday. Meanwhile, Russian President Vladimir Putin again warned Western countries to stay out of this conflict. He's also escalating rhetoric by saying the crippling sanctions on his country are a declaration of war. Through all of this, a local nonprofit already has relief workers on the ground in that region. Tigard-based Medical Teams International is responding to this crisis in Europe with supplies and relief workers. The first team arrived in the region last week. They're stationed in Poland before heading off to Romania. And we're told local churches, community groups, and neighboring countries are providing aid to Ukraine. But they'll be overwhelmed soon because of the large number of refugees leaving the area.
One thing I'm really struck by is just how the community is showing up and how these neighboring countries are showing up.
So a lot in the very beginning is coordinating to say who is needed where, doing what. And we know what we can do, which is provide immediate healthcare response.
So unlike some other larger organizations, Medical Teams International says its small teams can shift efforts more quickly. So they'll assess the situation that's going on as it all unfolds and pivot as needed. Well, police in Gresham are investigating the city's latest shooting. One person is recovering, and this was near Southeast Market and 182nd Avenue. Officers responded to a fight between two people. Police arrived to find the victim, who was taken to the hospital in critical condition. The shooter took off originally, but later contacted police to be interviewed. Police say the two people did know each other, and police have not made any arrests. In Portland, the Multnomah County Central Library plans to reopen tomorrow after closing for a stabbing in an elevator today. Police say one person was stabbed this morning, and the person who did it ran away. Police said it looked like the victim was going to be okay. The library closed for the day, but should be back open tomorrow at 10 o'clock. The Oregon Music Hall of Fame says local arts education just took a big hit. Someone stole 70 autographed guitars that were supposed to go up for charity auction. The organization doesn't have many pictures yet of the exact instruments stolen, but here are some pictures of examples of what got stolen from a storage unit. The guitars are signed by famous artists and sometimes sell for thousands of dollars each. And that money then goes to music scholarships and assemblies for students in Oregon schools.
Talk about one of the most awful phone calls to get. It takes us a long time to procure all of these guitars with autographs. Really took a lot away from the music education assemblies that we give to those kids.
It's just too bad. Now, the Hall of Fame wants people to be watching out for others trying to sell these special guitars online. So if you see anything suspicious or anything that looks like these guitars that you're seeing on your screen right here, they ask that you screenshot it online and send it along to the Oregon Music Hall of Fame to send along to police after that. We've now got a local follow-up here. Earlier this week, the University of Oregon announced plans to take over the old Concordia University Portland campus in Northeast. And that campus closed suddenly about 2 years ago, you might remember. Since then, it's just sat there while legal drama plays out involving the Lutheran Church's handling of the situation. Well, now the University of Oregon plans to turn the school into an education center to train mental health professionals who will focus on children. Neighbors had concerns before this announcement, but are really happy with this update.
I'm surprised that it turned out this good.
Yeah.
I thought, there were lots of rumors about crazy stuff happening. And then the worst possible would have been if they decided to tear it down and put it in a Walmart.
Now, the U of O Concordia deal is pending approval by the school's Board of Trustees this month. If approved, though, the plan is to eventually move other classes from the university's current downtown home at the White Stag building.